Why did you stop drinking alcohol? Saves a lot of money and feels much healthier, happier. Because of the morning after. When you feel like a hollow and anxiety-ridden puddle of a human. I was a fun drunk. Not a fighter, not an angry person, not sloppy, etc. So, making the transition out of alcohol use was a hard one for my friends and family to understand. It seems people need a big messy explosion to justify sobriety, but my explosion was an implosion. A deep self-hatred that no one felt but my hungover zombie brain. I was too hungover to play with my son. I'm sad when I drink. Because I was escaping small moments of discomfort with a 3-5 beer a day habit, and drinking more than that on weekends. Essentially a highly functioning alcoholic, with a good job and a great relationship, but if I kept doing the things that I was doing, I was going to melt my life to the ground. Alcohol was keeping me from fully engaging in the relationships that were important to me. And so I decided to fundamentally change the relationship that I had with alcohol. That breakup really sucked, but we won't be seeing each other that way anymore. I was tired of being hungover. It has too many calories and was leading to binge eating for me. Because I lost contact with all my family, fucked up all other relationships and work, punched my boss in the face. I don't drink cause when I'm drunk I'm a problem. I don't care who I hurt, I feel awesome. 10 years sober in 5 days. Got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes last October. Quit drinking and the diabetes went away. Was packing the pounds on me. My weed and amphetamine addiction was enough already. I didn't stop drinking entirely, but I have recently stopped buying it to keep at home. I was finding it too easy to open up the liquor cabinet for a nightcap each night. I still will drink when I go out sometimes, but I don't go out that often, and when I do go out the price keeps me from getting more than a couple of drinks anyway. Because a 1.75L of bottom shelf whiskey every 1.5 days for years absolutely wrecked my liver and I ended up in the ER and then spent 8 days detoxing. Without that medically assisted detox I absolutely would have died. I had a problem. August 29th will be 1 year without a drop. Felt like I was drinking too much, so I got an early jump on dry January. Went through some mild withdrawal. Wasn't going to let some fucking drink control me, so I stopped. Because I was an alcoholic. I was drinking from about 11 AM until I went to bed or passed out every day. I would get a pint of whiskey every day at lunch and continue drinking until I went to bed. Always kept a couple cases of beer at the house plus a couple half gallons of whiskey and vodka. I watched a video I took of my kids with me talking in the background and could hear in my voice how drunk I was. I was there, but I wasn't there for my kids. Stopped drinking that week. It will been 5 years on the 24th of this month. I turn into a demon. 21 wine coolers for my 21st birthday. After that colorful experience, I didn't drink again until my 28th birthday. It made me fat and sad. Now I'm skinny and sad, lol. Not really though, I like not drinking a whole lot more than drinking every day and I'm generally happy. I just felt increasingly out of control of the amount I drank. Found it harder and harder to get through each day without taking a drink. Got sick of feeling shitty in the morning. I said this in an earlier post. I loved drinking, like loved it. The ritual, the taste, the slipping away of caring and comfortable warmth that came with it. But with that love you have to make a choice. Marry it until death till we part, or break up and go our separate ways. It's been 2 years since I left my mistress in a bottle. It was a good breakup for me. The state of Washington suggested I should after my second DUI. I would say stupid things, then text things to people I later regretted, and then at some point I started flaking on plans when I was too drunk to remember or bother to warn them. That was definitely not the person I wanted to be. The worst was when I actually lost a job over it. After that I went to counseling and stopped drinking altogether, and it has definitely improved my health and relationships with other people. I took LSD, it changed my life and alcohol doesn't make sense anymore. I just decided today to quit, wish me luck. It's for my health and my family. I'm a lush, I can't just have a sip, once I start it doesn't stop until I'm slurring and don't remember conversations the next day. Cirrhosis at 30. I am allergic. I break out in handcuffs. It was a crutch to get through the day without thinking about my traumatic childhood. I was an alcoholic. A stop drinking was a godsend. Leads me onto 3-day cocaine benders. Too many DUIs. From my early to mid-20s I had already got 3, decided that alcohol only destroyed my life and made my problems worse. Drinking started out fun but then became a serious problem later down the road. That was 20 years ago, took me 5 years to get my license back. 20 years sober this coming October. I ended up in the hospital with severe pancreatitis. On Christmas Day. 2.5 weeks of excruciating pain. Unable to eat. Tubes in all sorts of places. And my God, the look some of those doctors gave me I will not forget. I was told if it ever happens again I'm probably getting a big hole put in my stomach that they can feed me through. So I had to stop. That was like a year and a half ago. Because I drank too much. No alcohol left in fridge. I feel like my hangovers have gotten worse over time. To the point where even a relatively small amount of alcohol like 2 glasses of wine will give me a bad side effect. The pros and cons ratio leans heavily towards the cons. It's not worth it. Weed is the way to go. Used it as a coping mechanism one too many times and it's one of the worst things you can get addicted to. Saw the patterns, ended the patterns early. Now I drink moderately on the rare occasion, if I'm with people and genuinely having fun instead of self-medicating alone on my balcony at 3 a.m. to Russian post-punk. Funny enough I decided to stop drinking today and this question came up on my feed. Just finished up a 3-day bender for the 3rd weekend in a row. Body feels like absolute crap. Brain is quite foggy, anxiety levels are at their peak. Time to hunker down and quit this nonsense. Broke my foot, broke my collarbone, made a fool of myself and could not live with the regret. It also went hand in hand with cocaine abuse. It made me suicidal and I realized alcohol was going to be my death one way or another if I did not quit. I had breast cancer and alcohol drastically increases your chance of recurrence. It became a seizure trigger. Tried to shoot myself, transported to hospital, committed to mental health lockup ward. First psychiatrist who saw me said you have a disease, it's called depression. It's as real as any other disease and you are treating it with alcohol, which in itself causes depression. You are like a drowning man who yells out, "Throw me an anchor." It rang true to me. I started on antidepressants and gave up alcohol. 2 years on antidepressants cured the depression. Now 7 years sober. Got pregnant, feel better than ever, even morning sickness and other pregnancy symptoms. Takes too much to get me to a point where it's worth it. The 12 to 48 hours of recovery. When you're reevaluating life decisions, throwing up and or both having diarrhea at the same time. Also it brings out the worst in people, not to mention I can't count how many people I've seen piss on themselves or shit themselves from drinking too much. If alcohol was illegal today it would never become legal, it's the most destructive drug to yourself and society. Alcoholic here. Ended up drinking 2 bottles of vodka a day. Even got so desperate that I started steaming and drinking alcohol hand gel. Managed to get into long-term treatment and just gone 9.5 years sober. Beyond